The renovation of our 1930s cottage continues, and this week I'm working on bringing more antique character into the kitchen. I've spent the last several months of renovation projects adding charm and character back to this house, and the last several weeks have been all about transforming the curb appeal. Although we still have a few projects left before the final exterior reveal, this week we're taking an unexpected break from the outside. I got a phone call the other day that said if you want these pieces, you need to come get them now because the basement has flooded. These old cabinets have been sitting forgotten in a family member's basement for years, and when they were offered to me, I immediately knew they belonged in the cottage. They're going to be the perfect way to add character to part of the kitchen that was still missing something. I thought I had a little bit more time, but recently their basement flooded, so it became one of those now or never projects. I brought them home so they didn't get damaged, but once I started working on them, I found a hidden surprise. Barely visible, hidden under the old paint, there's an original detail on 3 of the doors, and I've got to decide if I'm going to try to recreate it or go a completely new direction. If you're new here, I post weekly videos featuring the ongoing restoration and renovation of our 1930s cottage, and I've got lots more in store. I definitely want to extend a lot of that cottage vibe into this room, and when people come in here, it always surprises me. Like, people love this kitchen. When you're in here in person, it's a whole lot different than when you see pictures and videos. Like, it's a very nostalgic, fun, cozy space. The fact that it's kind of back here on its own in the back of the house, I don't know, it just gives this, like, it's not like any other kitchen that you go in. Like, it's not like a new build. It sets the tone for the rest of the house, and even though it's not perfect, I'm really happy with it. A lot of people can be in here and have plenty of room. It's just, this room could be better utilized. A lot of historic houses have rooms like this. It's like essentially a hallway. It's not the dining room, because there is a dining room with a dining table in it. And that doesn't mean that it can't be functional, like extra counter space, prep space, storage space. So it's going to be really nice, and the fact that I had to kind of jump into this unexpectedly, it's okay. The family member's house, I don't want to go into that, but the pieces have just been at their house, and they just said whenever you're ready, you can get them. And yeah, they've been on mind anyways, but then I got a phone call the other day that said if you want these pieces, you need to come get them now because the basement has flooded. So fortunately, it did not get up over them, but they just were getting rid of a lot of things, cleaning out a lot of things, and they had to get everything out of there to get the water out. And it was just wet, like everything in there was wet because it had flooded. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think it's a good thing. I'm not quitting on the outside. I'm not like stopping the exterior project. I do have a lot of things going all the time anyways. And if it's bothering you that I'm not finishing that right now, just know that it's bothering me too. It's at a stopping point, and I need to do some other things, and I don't have anywhere else to put these pieces other than in here. And I don't want to put them in here until they're clean and repainted and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to do this room. I feel like every time I check something off the list, I add a couple more things. I think that's just part of it at this point in my life. But the odd layout in here really makes it feel more historic. I don't really know how to explain that, but it's not an easy space for me to record in. And I think it looks way better in person than it does on video. I've tried to get some more footage just to make sure that you kind of understand the layout, because it feels like a kitchen in a historic house, if that makes any sense. So this veggie hutch, this is going to be coming out of here. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it. I really like this piece of furniture, but it's one of those pieces that I can just never find the perfect home for. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put this, but the taller baker's cabinet, Hoosier cabinet, is going to go right here, and then the shorter one that goes with it is just going to go right here, kind of like an island. I just need to make sure that I've got plenty of room, but it's not very deep, and I think it's going to work. True to form, I've gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole. These cabinets were so common in the early 20th century, and I was really curious if the piece that doesn't have a hutch top was like that originally, or if it was missing. I found a ton of interesting information, and apparently there were many pieces available, all being part of an unfitted kitchen setup. I've seen these cabinets for sale in antique stores and on Facebook Marketplace, but what I didn't realize was how many colors and options they came in. It really gave me a lot of great inspiration. I also realized that although I haven't found any date markings yet, I think this cabinet might be a little bit older than what I thought it was. I was thinking 1930s, but it looks like maybe 1910s to 1920s, just based on everything I'm seeing. Am I the only one that's so entertained and interested in old advertising? I find it so inspiring, and advertisements now are just so flat and boring. Not to mention the fact that all these were originally in print and everything we get now is digital, but I really enjoyed reading about all these tips and tricks, and even though it was marketing, I think a lot of it was actually useful. I've talked a lot about my inspiration for the cottage, that I'm looking for charm, character, cottage elements, softness, layers, all these words, but really what I want is a house that looks old, but still functions. I want nothing trendy. My budget might limit some of my ideas, but I want this house to make you wonder, is this original? Unfortunately, you can't just go to Target and pick up items to create that look. It's searching for special pieces, it's building custom items, adding layers, understanding the past, looking for inspiration in lots of different places, and it's taking some time, but I think it's going to be worth it to get it right. The antique pieces that are going to be going in here are going to make a huge impact, and I know I have got to get rid of these blinds. They're not mini blinds. What are they called? The wide ones. They're like faux wood blinds. They gotta go. When I take pictures and videos in here, and when I really look at this room, like, functionally it works great, but it could be so much better if they were gone. So I'm excited to add these pieces in here. I think what I want to do, so I have the materials to build a plate rack for this cabinet that's over the sink. I would like to add some of that wallpaper in the back of that cabinet, and I'm going to tie that color palette in here. So I think what I'm leaning towards is doing the yellow on these two pieces that I'm going to add in here. There is one thing though that I have. So when I finished the wallpaper, I was exhausted, like, not physically, but mentally. Like, that was super stressful. That wallpaper is not a fun pattern to hang. I love it, but it was my first time actually hanging wallpaper with a pattern at all. And the learning curve was, whew. But anyways, I had originally put these are plate hanging discs. I'll try to link them below, but I put these on here so that I could hang this over the stove. It's like a giant ironstone platter. Let me know what you think. I'll take you over here and we'll see. Eventually I am going to build some kind of a custom range hood for over the stove, but I think for now I need to do something over this because it just looks empty. I just didn't want to make any holes in my wallpaper right after I hung it. I about fell. I have so many videos of me falling, it's not funny. Anyways, that's what's on the to-do list for this week. I'm gonna get started on this cabinet. Good morning. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you can hear me. I can't find my microphone, so I'm sorry if you can't hear me very well, but I'm kind of trying to get started on this here's your cabinet. I went down a rabbit hole. I've done a lot of research. I've been trying to figure out what manufacturer this came from, and I've been looking for clues. So on top of paint samples that I've got, there's a few things that I've noticed. First of all, I don't know if you can see this really well, but it's obvious that the cabinet has been repainted for a couple of reasons. Mainly because if you look in certain light, you can see there's like runs, and down here you can see on some of the cabinet interiors, you can see, not sure at what point it was repainted, but it's definitely been repainted. And then there's also a pattern on these cabinet doors. So there is almost like a tulip-like shape right here that goes up. It looks like it's just on these 3 doors. I've looked and I don't think it was on this bottom door. The other thing I've noticed is that these handles have been painted, and these hinges I think are silver. It's harder to see up here. You can kind of see on the edges. But down here, they are pretty well chrome. I've been searching for pictures, and I have had trouble finding this exact kind of layout with the 2 on the bottom and then this trim on the top. I have found some hints just at where this assembly may have come from, and I might link below any resources that I've found just in case you're looking to restore one of these yourself. But anyways, I've got paint samples. I know that the cabinets in the kitchen are yellow, and that's what I'm leaning towards, but I'm just not sure. I think what I want to do is, before I get ready to strip these, I'm going to just put a couple samples so I can look at them. I also am trying a different paint stripper that I've never used before. I'm going to be using a product called Peel Away. I got it at Sherwin-Williams, like the local Sherwin-Williams representative, not at Lowe's. It's supposed to be a little bit easier cleanup. I've really been stalling on starting this for a few days because I'm really dreading stripping the paint, and I know that it's going to be a mistake to not strip it. So yeah, I hope that product works really well. I need to trace this pattern, so I'm not going to put anything on there, but I'm going to test out some samples. And I also want to keep in mind this wallpaper that I used in the kitchen. I really like this wallpaper. I really like it. And so you can see this yellow color here is really the color I was going for whenever I did the yellow on the cabinets. And so I think that's what I want to do, and then that will tie in nicely if I decide I want to put some of that in here, because I do have enough left over that I could do that. But I want to test out these samples. Let me grab, I've also got a card. Let me see, I thought I had that. Let me grab it real quick. I don't have every color on here, obviously. Kind of looks like it's called Selvage. But I think how this cabinet was it was at least a 2-tone, and I think that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Let me see what I've got here. So I've got hay, I've got pigeon, which I think is going to be too green, and then I have one called Cromartie, and that is kind of teal as well. Let me grab a paintbrush. All right. I've been shaking this sample up. I'm excited about this. I wanted to make sure that I was really ready to fully commit to this whole project before I started it. I'll move y'all just a little bit closer. Maybe y'all can hear me well. And I'm sure you can't see that, but it's really cute. Sometimes it's hard to know what's been changed on these. So I've just been looking for a lot of clues. The door is missing on this section, this roll-up door. I don't think I'm going to stress over that. I did find one image that looks similar to this. I just haven't been able to find this exact, the dog, this exact pattern. For some reason I couldn't picture this hay color on here, but I think this is going to look great. Yeah, I can tell I already like that. I'm trying to really think in my head of different color combinations, because normally when there was this pattern on there, I never found any that was like a solid door unless it's one that had been redone. So I could do like a white frame, the yellow door, and then it would be so white, yellow, white, and then maybe do like a red for the flower. And that would really lean into that Art Deco thing. And then I think it would still look cute if I did this. Maybe like that raspberry red. I can always add this flower back at some point later after it's done, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to work on this tracing real quick. This center door is the most intact, so I kind of want to leave it alone and just see what I can see of these other two. And that's how, you know, I kind of know that there's been another coat of paint added, because these doors are sticking together. There's a place right here I think I'm going to need to glue and clamp, and I'm not sure what happened to these corners, but I'm going to see what they look like whenever I get them stripped. The light is going away. We've got a leaf here. Oh, there it comes back. I think I want to take this knob off. I think these handles were chrome too. I thought they were kind of ugly, but now I've realized that they have paint. Somebody painted them black. One thing is like it's so hard to see where it stops. So you've got this line which just kind of stops and makes a break. And then this line and this line. This is making me feel crazy. Okay. When the light changes, I can just see more. I think it's like that. So down here, the leaf is long. And there's like a line right there in it. So this one is like, the bottom is right here. And then the top. What I'm having a hard time seeing is like this. It was probably a stencil. It looks like it almost doesn't touch right there. And then like this one, that line comes down really far. But I don't think this one goes all the way up. I get my tape measure and try to write all these down, and that way I know. Just telling my aunt about these flowers. I'm also gonna basically try to take a Sharpie so it's high contrast. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that I have any details that I might be missing. Because like on this one, it was a lot easier to see that overlap. And I want to make sure I have the size down. So it looks like. What if I do from here? Four. Let's see. And 5/16 is where the top of it is. So let me just draw my cabinet box. I'm just worried I'm going to do something and I'm not going to be able to get it back if I inadvertently erase a detail. So 4 and 5/16. And then I can see clouds go away. I need to see. Got that one I can't see. Maybe this is a waste of my life. I don't know. There it is. So from the bottom, you've got 6.5. And it's like exactly 3 inches wide. I just can't tell on this one. It kind of looks like, well, no, I can kind of see here. It goes up and then there and then there. Okay. Those are definitely chrome. It's fine. I think it might be easier to trace this if these doors are down, so that's what I'm trying to do. I don't think I ever said that out loud. Do y'all hear those coyotes? Oh, yeah. Yay! I know when I strip the paint, it'll be gone, but I'm gonna route on these. And then I'll just keep up with it as I strip them. So right upper. This is the one that needs some repairing. I'm so sweaty. Wish y'all can see that pattern. What do y'all think? Should I keep the pattern? Or is it a waste of my life? I mean, I say keep it loosely because somebody's already getting rid of it, but. And this door that's busted, I'm gonna have to. Looks like somebody's already put a nail in it, but I can fix that. Unless it just falls apart completely when I strip it. I think she'll be good. I'm purposefully not using the drill. Somebody said the maker's mark is on some of the knobs, and that's kind of how I realized they're painted. You know, you just look at a piece as a whole and you don't really break it down into its parts, and that's what I was doing. A big part of me wanted to keep this here. Oh, sorry, I made to look so close to y'all. But this house was built in the 70s, and I'm trying to add character to it in other ways. But I just feel like this piece belongs in the cottage. It has been in a basement for the past, I don't know how long. I really hate to try to guess for sure. The other thing that I want to tackle today when it gets too hot for me to be out here is going through some different wall art pieces that I want to use. This is the flower sifter. That's got so much paint on it I can't even see where that... I've got a bunch of like retro memorabilia, things I want to make shadow boxes for. And I saw a house tour the other day. I don't remember who it was, but she talked about how her husband had made shadow boxes, and I don't know why I've never thought of the way she explained. It was super simple, and so I'm going to be giving that a go. I'm going to go through and decide. You can see that clearly there, that chrome. I don't know if I want to take this off of its flower sifter right now. Somebody did replace that at some point. Part of me almost wonders if like some of it was painted and some of it was raw wood. Is that possible? I think if I don't take my time and do this and kind of give it some attention, there's a strong chance that this cabinet won't last very many more years. I mean, say something happens to me, and not that I'm planning on it, but you know, there's not a lot of people that want to take the time to do this stuff. And if it's in halfway decent condition, somebody's going to see it as something special. But if it's looking really rough, maybe something that somebody sees as trash. So it's worth it to me to maybe give it a chance. Probably a metaphor in there. We all need a chance sometimes. I'm going to have a chance to take a good drink of water though. I don't think it's going to be perfect when I get it done either. I think it's going to be a lot better. I'm not taking these off yet. I think I'm going to save these in a separate bag. I got those top doors, took off that whole hutch is going to be a major project.
Is it?
Yeah.
Make a good video?
I don't know. It's probably going to be boring. It ain't going to be one video. I'm going to be working on that for weeks. Banjo chord book.
Cool.
That'll be fun to hang. It's cute.
No luck, Mother.
Where are you finding this stuff at?
And that stuff's from Granny's.
Oh,
This book was published in 1921.
wow. That's cool.
Oh, I see it on here. I looked it up. Hollywood Legends.
Make it as a challenge.
You good?
Yeah. You want to go? Of course.
Well, too bad. Oh, you left me hanging.
Yeah, I like all this travel stuff. So here's a boarding pass from Frontier Airlines. So this is fun. Alright, I got all these postcards I want to frame. Okay, Cove. My only complaint about some of this travel stuff is it doesn't have dates on it. The brochures and stuff.
Yeah.
Greyhound. And then some of the stuff has two sides. So it's like, how do I put that in the shadow box? There's a receipt from the Noel Hotel from 10/18 of 65 in Nashville.
The which hotel?
It was called Noel, like Noel.
Huh.
And
Wonder.
1967 Greyhound tickets to Savannah, Tennessee. I think that's fun.
That's really cool.
Here's one from 64. '64 Great Smoky 3-day package tour. Greyhound travel deal. They take you to different cities and show you around. 2 nights lodging, 6 meals, tours, entertainment, a swimming pool. I gotta figure out a way to display all that stuff.